Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever feel like you are studying but not really learning, like you are just going through the motions? Well, this new study dives into why using AI, even when it seems helpful, might actually be making us learn less. So imagine you have this super smart AI tool like ChatGPT that can explain anything, write essays, or solve problems for you. Sounds amazing for learning, right? But what if using it too much, or in the wrong way, stops us from actually building deep understanding? This paper calls that maladaptive AI use for learning. It is not just using AI a lot, but using it in a way that messes with how we learn properly. They came up with a whole framework for this, developed a special scale to measure it, and looked at what causes it and what happens because of it. The researchers started by brainstorming a bunch of ways people might use AI poorly for learning. They came up with 50 initial ideas, then refined them down. They wanted to capture 3 main types of problems. Uncritical reliance is like blindly trusting whatever the AI tells you without thinking twice. You don't check if it is right or if it matches what you already know. Shallow processing is when you use AI to do the hard work for you. So you don't have to really engage with the material. It's like getting the answer without doing the thinking. An illusory competence is that feeling you get after using AI where you think you understand something really well, but actually you don't. It's like a false sense of knowing. They ran several studies to build and test a reliable way to measure this maladaptive AI use. After creating a scale with lots of questions, they used a method called exploratory factor analysis. Think of it like letting the data group the questions it thinks belong together. It turned out the AI use questions naturally fell into those 3 categories we just talked about: uncritical reliance, shallow processing, and illusory competence. After all the testing and refining, they ended up with a 12. Item scale. This is the final list of questions they used to measure maladaptive AI use for learning. See, it covers all those different ways AI can be used in a less than helpful way for real learning. To make sure their scale was solid, they did confirmatory factor analysis. This is like checking if the data fits the structure they expected. The results confirmed that their 3-factor model worked well. The scale also showed good reliability, meaning the questions consistently measured what they were supposed to. For example, an alpha of 0.86 means the scale is pretty reliable. A p value is like a flukometer. The lower it is, the less likely the result is just random chance. And here, the results were definitely not flukes. Next, they wanted to see if their scale measured the same thing for both men and women. This is important because if the scale works differently for different groups, then any results could be misleading. The good news, it worked the same for everyone, meaning we can trust the scores across different genders. They also looked at convergent and discriminant validity. Convergent validity means the scale should be related to other things it's supposed to be related to. And discriminant validity means it shouldn't be too closely related to things it is not supposed to be related to. This is where it gets really interesting. They found that people who used AI maladaptively for learning tended to have certain other traits. For example, they might have a stronger attachment to AI, feel more social pressure to use it, have more positive feelings about AI, procrastinate more, feel more anxious, and be less open-minded and conscientious. On the flip side, they had lower critical thinking when using AI. This paints a picture of who might be most at risk for using AI in a way that hurts their learning. They also checked to see if people's scores on the scale stayed consistent over time. They had people take the test, then take it again a week later. A good test-retest reliability means the scale measures a pretty stable tendency, not just something someone feels in the moment. An ICC of 0.77 is pretty good for this type of measure, suggesting that if you tend to use AI maladaptively today, you'll likely still have that tendency a week from now. This is the money study, the one that connects maladaptive AI use to actual learning outcomes. They had students learn about the topic using an AI chatbot, then write about it without using AI. They also looked at their GPAs, and the results were pretty clear. People who scored higher on the maladaptive AI use scale tended to have lower GPAs. They also did worse on their writing tasks when they had to do it themselves after learning with AI. And perhaps most telling, they were more overconfident about how much they understood compared to their actual performance. This means that using AI in these unhelpful ways actually impacts your grades. It is not just a preference, it has real consequences on your overall academic success. This is a crucial finding. When students used AI in maladaptive ways, their ability to perform independently after the AI support was removed suffered. This highlights that AI might be helping them get through tasks in the moment, but it is not building durable understanding that they can access later on their own. This is the illusory competence dimension in action. They felt they understood more than they actually did. Imagine believing you aced a test, but then seeing your real score. That gap between feeling competent and actually being competent is what this study measured, and higher maladaptive AI use predicted a bigger gap. So, what is the big takeaway from all this? Well, the researchers proposed that maladaptive AI use isn't just about using AI a lot. It's about using it in a way that bypasses the essential steps needed for genuine learning. These steps include verifying information, engaging deeply with the material, and accurately evaluating your own understanding. They found that people who use AI this way are more likely to accept AI outputs without checking them, use AI to avoid hard thinking, and end up thinking they know more than they do. This is a distinctive pattern that leads to worse academic performance, weaker independent learning, and less accurate self-assessment. Now, every study has its limits. This research mainly involves students from English-speaking universities, so we need to be careful about assuming these findings apply everywhere, to everyone in every culture. Also, most of the data came from self-reports. People tell us how they use AI and how they feel about it. But sometimes what we think we do is different from what we actually do. Future studies could use more direct observation, like looking at AI chat logs or tracking how students actually interact with AI tools. But overall, this research gives us a really important framework for understanding when generative AI might actually hinder learning. It gives us a way to measure this specific type of maladaptive AI use through uncritical reliance, shallow processing, and illusory competence. The key is to use AI as a tool to support our learning, not as a shortcut to replace the crucial mental work that builds deep, lasting understanding. This research is a big step in helping educators and students figure out how to use AI wisely. So, what do I think? This study does a fantastic job of identifying a real problem with how AI can be used in education. The framework and the scale they developed are clear and well validated. The link between maladaptive AI use and poorer academic outcomes is compelling evidence that this isn't just about preferences, but about actual learning effectiveness. What this means for us is that simply embracing AI in education isn't enough. We need to be mindful of how we use it. Educators might need to design assignments that encourage critical thinking and verification of AI output. Students need to be aware of these three pitfalls: uncritical reliance, shallow processing, and illusory competence, and actively work to avoid them. Future research could explore strategies to help students develop critical thinking skills specifically for AI interactions, or investigate how AI can be designed to promote rather than bypass deep learning processes. Maybe AI tutors that encourage more effortful retrieval or provide constructive, not just flattering feedback. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel you sometimes fall into these patterns when using AI for learning? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more dives into fascinating science. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.